I was scrolling through Twitter, doing my normal thing, reading the news, when I came across a video that looked like a political attack ad. The only thing was it was about Nike. It showed Colin Kaepernick, and it was talking about Chinese slave labor and stuff like that. And I was like, wait, hold on. What is this? Who is this targeting? Then I realized it's targeting Nike. And wait, someone made a political hit campaign against a corporation? I don't know if they've done that in the past, if it's a normal thing, but I had not seen something like this or really thought about it. So I looked into it, and sure enough, conservatives are fighting back in a very, very clever way. CNBC reports conservative group launches ad campaign against woke capitalism, targeting CEOs by name. They say the ads criticize American Airlines CEO Doug Parker for his high pay at a time of layoffs and taxpayer bailouts for the industry. Rather populist issue. Wouldn't say it's overtly conservative. They target Coca-Cola CEO James Quincy over obesity in America. Okay, well, I don't know. The body positivity people might get mad about that one. And they criticize Nike CEO John Donahoe over allegations of forced labor in China. They say the decision to weigh in on political issues is a fraught one for American CEOs who generally prefer to avoid fights that could alienate a large chunk of customers. My friends, get woke, go broke has just evolved to the next level. You see, there's a period where get woke, go broke, which is, again, I always say this, it's not a law, right? It's not a guarantee. Sometimes getting woke makes people money because, the woke virtue signal people will go and spend money on it. But it refers to the specific incidents when getting woke costs them money. Now, early on, this just referred to a company makes a dumb video game with dumb woke stuff in it. People don't buy it and they lose money. And then they're like, oh, man, we lost money. That sucks. A lot of companies don't want to alienate their customer base. A lot of companies are too stupid and do it anyway. These companies have all engaged in politics. Now they're being targeted by the next evolution. You see, it's one thing if you put in an ad, right? And you're like, hey, I sell Coke, but it's feminist Coke. And then conservatives don't want to buy it. And you're like, well, at least I got, profits from the feminists. The next evolution is actively fighting back. Now, a conservative group is launching what I believe it's a 7-figure ad campaign, which will not only see them lose sales from conservatives, but they're going to add insult to injury by making sure they cause as much PR damage as possible. Let me tell you a quick story before I read this. There's somebody I know who's decently high profile, excuse me, and they were telling me a story. I'll leave them nameless as their private business, but they're telling me a story about they were dealing with a problem with a company. And so they said to them, whatever it costs you to fix this problem, I am going to cost you 1,000-fold more in bad PR. Well, they knew who this person was. Sure enough, someone comes back on the phone a few minutes later and says, the problem has been resolved. These companies know. They want to do an ad campaign, right? Coca-Cola's like, we want people buying soda. Let me just pause real quick and say, don't drink soda. You might see me drink. I have RC and Surge here. Those are fun and funny. I try to reduce the amount of soda that we drink here. We got these fun little Japanese sodas. They're lower sugar, but don't drink soda. It's bad for you. Coca-Cola knows they're going to spend, $1 billion in ads, right? Okay. That means they are losing this money because when these conservatives are launching these ad campaigns, because not only are they having to spend money for positive PR, the uniqueness and the political posturing of the negative campaign is probably going to generate more buzz than a commercial. You see a commercial comes on TV and it's like a guy and he's like walking down the street and he cracks open a can of Coke and he's like, Coca-Cola, and he drinks it. And that's it. They're trying to sell you on it tastes great. And so what ends up happening is you get these anti-commercials, these conservative political commercials, which actually go into great detail, showing a lot more information about what Coke is doing, probably causing a lot more damage from a PR standpoint. This is some of the most brilliant one of the most brilliant counterattacks I've seen in the culture war, stepping it up in a powerful way that makes sense and is within the wheelhouse and capabilities of many of these conservatives. Political attack ads on corporations. Let's see how long they want to stay in the political game. You enter the political fray, you're fair game in a political way. Here's the story from CNBC. They say a conservative group is launching an advertising campaign Tuesday designed to push back against what it sees as woke capitalism, spending more than $1 million on ads targeting the CEOs of Coke, American Airlines, and Nike. The ads are sharply critical of the CEOs on a range of issues, ranging from childhood obesity to allegations of forced labor in China. Organizers say the campaign, which is being mounted by the conservative group Consumers Research, is designed to change the thinking in corporate boards around the economic and political costs of getting involved in flashpoint issues such as voting rights. Quote, increasingly, we're seeing companies taking their eye off the ball, said William Hild, executive director of Consumers Research. Our focus is always on the consumer, and that's what it should be for these companies as well. But increasingly, we're seeing them try to curry favor with woke politicians rather than focusing on serving their consumers. The dark money group says it will not disclose who is financing the campaign, saying it respects donors' privacy. Consumers Research says it will run the ads on CNBC, Fox Business, and local stations in the cities where the companies are headquartered. There will also be an online component to the campaign, replete with ominous videos of the CEOs and casting them very much like opposition candidates in a political campaign. The ads target the company CEOs by name. The ads criticize American Airlines CEO Doug Parker. So we read this. Getting a high pay during layoffs and taxpayer bailouts for the industry. Where's the left on this one? I'm sure they all agree that's bad. Let's slam the guy. Let's criticize him. You want to play politics? We'll play politics. They go after CEO of Coke, James Quincy, for obesity in America. Coca-Cola is awful. Just don't drink it. And they criticize Nike CEO John Donahoe over allegations of forced labor in China. Asked for a comment on the new campaign, American Airlines referred CNBC to its statement in April on its involvement in the Texas voting rights dispute. Quote, as a Texas-based business, we must stand up for the rights of our team members and customers who call Texas home and honor the sacrifices made by generations of Americans to protect and expand the right to vote. Okay. All right. That's it. You know what? I use American Airlines. I am going to send them some distasteful words because I'm disgusted by this. I don't want you to be involved in whatever the stupid trash you're peddling is, American Airlines. And so I'm going to terminate services. I'm going to look into this immediately afterwards and do what I have to do to terminate services, because if they want to play politics, I can play politics back. Coca-Cola and Nike did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Now, I'll tell you this. I don't wear Nikes. And like I mentioned, in this house, we drink RC Cola. I haven't heard a lot from them politically. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But Pepsi did that dumb commercial where, what was it, Kylie Jenner or whatever, gives the Pepsi to the cop and they all laugh and smile and like everyone got mad about it. Coke, I guess, weighs in on the Georgia thing. So you know what? We just get RC. Good old RC Cola. I remember growing up as a kid, whenever you'd ordered pizza, you'd get a free 2-liter of RC. And I got to be honest, most people actually like it better. I would say never been a big fan of Coke. Just it's too, I don't know how to describe it. Frothy, syrupy. Bleh. I like Pepsi, but RC really is the best. And maybe it's because where I'm from, that's all we really used to drink. So you know what? Pepsi, Coke, you out of there. We're an RC household now. I'm kidding. I mean, we do have RC. I think it's funny. I was drinking it the other day. But I just generally just don't drink soda. Drink water. Maybe some coconut water. They say the decision to weigh in on the political issues was a fraught one for American CEOs who generally prefer to avoid the fights. 50% of those surveyed agreed that CEOs have a responsibility to speak out on important social and political issues and should continue to do so. But another 50% agreed with the statement, CEOs have recently gotten too involved in commenting on social and political issues and need to pull back, writes Murray. More than 80% agree that everything possible should be done to make it easy for every citizen to vote. But countering that belief is a strong desire to stay out of the partisan crossfire and perhaps not be called woke by the editors of the Wall Street Journal. So I have some of these ads here. Consumers Research. Why is American Air appeasing radical politicians? To distract from their CEO's $10 million plus payday, despite laying off thousands of workers and receiving a multi-billion-dollar bailout from the taxpayers in the same year. We're putting them on notice. We got this one. Why is Nike constantly political? To give them cover while they exploit foreign labor in communist China, we are putting them on notice. Why is Coca-Cola Co. attacking Georgia voting law? To distract from the fact that their products are poisoning America's youth and worsening the obesity epidemic? Yes. Yes to all of those things. Wonderful. I I like it. Now, apparently there's this, I think it's CNBC ran a segment where the one guy is just, I don't know this guy's name. He's like, woke capital's here to stay. You can't do nothing about it. I can. I'm not going to buy Coke. I'm not going to buy Nike. And I'm not going to use American Airlines. I've been traveling recently anyway, but the two airlines I've always used have been United and American. American, you're out. And I'll tell you this. That's no small feat. See, we're actually expanding here over at timcast.com. So go to timcast.com, become a member, get access to exclusive segments. But I bring this up not as a promo. We're already in the process of going through pitches to be sending people out to do mini documentaries, which means we're going to be buying airline tickets as a business. We ain't going to be buying with American Airlines because when you want to get political, I don't want to get political back. Here's what I mean. If American Airlines wants to come out and say dumb things about politics, well, I don't want to be seen as favoring one faction or the other. Of course, everybody knows, I've got my bias. They've got their bias. We all understand there's a culture war going on. But I'm not going to give money to people who hate me. And I'm not going to be actively seen as engaging in support for any faction in the culture war in the capacity that I'd be funding, something. As much as I cheer on James O'Keefe and talk about, supporting him because he's suing these organizations, I have not donated to Project Veritas. That's me because I'm trying to make sure that we do our thing. We focus on what we're doing. Now, I could donate to a bunch of organizations. I mostly donate to people whose pets are sick and they need help. If I have to choose to send a producer, filmmaker, or whatever on a plane, well, if I put them on American Airlines, I'm basically endorsing their politics. Nah, I don't want to do that. So we'll just find a different airline. I don't know exactly which airline that will be because all of them still do virtue signal to some degree, but it won't be American Airlines. Sorry, I'm not going to. We're not going to do that here. Okay, so it's just not going to happen. Now, this story from a couple weeks ago is interesting because there's apparently a push for some kind of legislation. I don't know what that could be or if it's at all possible. I mean, look, a company can have its free speech. I can just freely not associate with them. In this story from Forbes, get woke, go broke. GOP grow to punish woke businesses with legislation. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I'm also not entirely convinced they can even get any legislation through at this point, so don't waste our time. Forbes reports Senator Marco Rubio on Monday became the latest Republican lawmaker to advocate legislative sanctions against businesses perceived as too woke or politically left-wing, as increasingly popular positions among Republicans in Congress, as they further embrace populism and diverge culturally with many in the private industry. They go on to say, former President Donald Trump's embrace of populism and protectionist trade policies and willingness to publicly attack corporations has contributed to a rift between Republicans and their once loyal private sector allies. A division notably demonstrated by the Chamber of Commerce, growing increasingly favorable to Democrats, despite the pro-business organization's long history of mostly supporting Republicans. Republicans have, in turn, increasingly relied on grassroots donations to fund their campaigns. Critical quote, America's laws should keep our nation's corporations firmly ordered to our national common good, Rubio wrote in his New York Post op-ed. Corporate America eagerly dumps woke, toxic nonsense into our culture, and it's only gotten more destructive with time. These campaigns will be met with the same strength that any other polluter should expect. I'm not talking about political contributions. McConnell, who received among the most corporate PAC money of any Senate candidate, said earlier this month after telling businesses to stay out of politics. Most of them contribute to both sides. They have PACs. That's fine. It's legal. It's appropriate. I support that. Chief critic, just mind-blowing hypocrisy from the crowd that fought for years to make corporations citizens so they could make First Amendment protected unlimited political contributions. Let me stop right now and call you a moron, Chris Murphy. The Republicans today are clearly not the Republicans of 10 years ago. Political parties change. And the neocons, by which you refer, they joined the Democrats standing next to you. So why don't you look in the mirror or take a look around you at who's supporting your causes and why? Because it was in 2016 when we heard from Vox.com, VOX, that the Democratic Party is the party of the establishment wealthy elites. And that's why the industrialists who are pro-open borders are now on the Democrat side. What to watch for? They say if Republicans listen to Rep. Jim Banks, the chair of the Republican Study Committee, a powerful conservative caucus that contains nearly 3/4 of House Republicans, the party will continue to diverge with businesses and embrace Trump's base. In a memo to House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy earlier this month, Banks said the GOP is an opportunity to permanently become the party of the working class and said they should embrace voters some Republicans find distasteful. Now, the key facts of the story, just to get you into Marco Rubio's statements. He accused corporate America of flexing its power to humiliate politicians if they dare support traditional values, arguing lawmakers should reconsider corporate tax cuts and employer-friendly labor laws. Okay, I agree with that. If a company wants public money, then they should agree not to engage in politics. Nonprofits, right? I think 501c3 specifically, they get they're tax exempt. They don't got to pay taxes on this money. And how amazing is that? But they also agree to not do other things like engage in politics. Churches are supposed to be the same. Nonprofits publicly release their what's called a 990. You can see how much money they brought in, and they cannot engage in politics. All right. If Coca-Cola wants to get political, then we should not be giving them subsidies and tax breaks. Okay. If you want to be political, you forego any benefit. The government can't infringe your right to speech, but the Constitution doesn't say the government should be giving money away to corporations for their speech. So the government should, okay, if you want to engage in political discourse, then you are not going to be eligible for public benefits. There's no guarantee the government should give you things. Maybe that's still an argument many 1A people might disagree with, because it still creates a problem in which the government can incentivize certain speech and not others. But I mean any political speech. I guess the challenge then is, how do you determine what is or isn't political speech? We've already seen it. Black Lives Matter, it's not political, they say, but a Trump flag is political. Now, Black Lives Matter is political. So there is still a challenge here. I don't know how you'd enforce any of these laws. I don't know if you can. They say Rubio's fellow Floridian, Rick Scott, penned an open letter to woke corporate America last week in which he warned of a day of reckoning if Republicans retake Congress in 2022, vowing to make corporate welfare a thing of the past. Yes, absolutely. Rubio and Scott both cited Major League Baseball's decision to put an all-star game from Georgia to poll to protest the state's new election law that Democrats have alleged will lead to increased suppression. Republicans in both chambers have moved to strip the MLB, Major League Baseball, of an antitrust exemption it enjoys explicitly in retaliation for the pulled game, with Rep. Jim Jordan, one of the bill's co-sponsors, tweeting, "Big corporations, get woke, go broke." Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell reacted to the MLB development by warning of serious consequences for businesses that act as a woke parallel government. And he even told CEOs to stay out of politics, though he walked back the latter comments a little bit. I do not like this Mitch McConnell guy. I do not think any of them are actually fighting for any of us. So in the end, I don't care about Republican politicians. But this Consumers Research Group is actively fighting back and spending big bucks to do it. Now that is where you got to go. Culture. You see, these Republican lawmakers will only do what they're pressured to do. So they'll sit around on their hands. They'll high five Kamala Harris. They'll say, free speech as soon as they lose control of the Senate and the House and the presidency. They did nothing in 2016. They supported lies against Donald Trump like Russiagate garbage. And now here they are acting like anyone believes they'll really fight for them. Shut up. The Republican Party is garbage. There's a small handful of good Republicans who ran as Republicans and won. Thomas Massey's cool. Rand Paul is cool. Hawley's cool. Ted Cruz is all right. Ted Cruz is cool. And they're not all perfect. Big fan of Rand Paul and Ron Paul over here. Ron's retired, obviously. Now, the Republican Party, for the most part, does nothing. The Democrats just line up and watch it all burn to the ground. But I like what this group is doing. I like these videos. Going after Nike. They say, serve your customers, not woke politicians. I completely agree. They opened this ad with Colin Kaepernick. Why is Nike running political ads? Why is Nike signing a deal with a guy who doesn't even play football anymore? You're allowed to do it. I'm not interested in supporting and giving money to people who hate me. So there was a period before where I was like, I don't care about these boycotts. If a company wants to be political, if they provide a service. And then you realize there's very serious problems in these companies lobbying for psychotic policies. So in the past, I've cut off different companies when they do ridiculous things. Then when they backpedal, Well, then I signed back up. Hulu did some woke cultural appropriation Halloween message, terminated immediately. They apologized. I don't know if they apologized, but I'm pretty sure they deleted the tweet. Companies should look, if you sell Coke, you should be like, our soda is delicious. Drink it. Thank you. And have a nice day. But for some reason, Coke is like, how can we sell more Coke? I know. You're an evil racist. You're all racist. Voting laws. Bleh. Okay. I don't know much about your soda, but apparently you have a division that cares about voting laws. So, okay. I'm going to go buy sodas, which is apparently not what your company does. Imagine if you went to the mall and there was a 24 pack of Democrat and you were like, it's soda. Should I trust it's going to taste good? Because the primary function of it is to win elections, not make drinks. You know what I mean? Imagine there's a guy who's like, I'm a political consultant, but I will try to fix your toilet. You'd be like, I'll hire a plumber. Why would I hire the Democratic Party to fix my toilet? I'm sure someone knows some stuff there. How about I just call a plumber to come and do it? So how about this? I'm looking at which sodas to buy. I see one company that specializes in making soda, RC Cola, and another company that specializes in stupid woke pandering. Okay, well, I'm not going to hire someone to do woke pandering and then hand me a Coke. I'm going to hire the company to make RC Cola and hand me an RC Cola. I don't know if RC is actually not woke. I have no idea, but we did buy some, whatever. You get the point. This is brilliant work from Consumers Research, so I dig it. I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up at 4 p.m. over at youtube.com/Timcast. Thanks for hanging out, and I will see you all then.